Hey peeps, what's up? Munchie here, back with another video. And in today's video, we're going to talk about the different cloud computing models. And if you've heard about something like IaaS, PaaS, SaaS, that is what we're going to try and explain today. So let us first start off with the full form of the abbreviations. So SaaS stands for Software as a Service. PaaS is Platform as a Service, and IaaS is Infrastructure as a Service. We're going to start off with a real world example so that it is easier for you to relate these cloud computing models to real life. So let us say you own a car, that is, you outright own the car. Then that is something which in IT terms is called on-premise model. Now, if you own the car, you are responsible for everything. You are responsible for the car, the finance, the depreciation, the servicing, renewables, insurance, etc., etc. Second option is, let us say you have leased a car. Now, by leased a car, I mean that you lease the car for say 3 years, and after 3 years, you're going to return the car to the dealer. So that is what is the car leasing model. Now, in this case, what is managed by you is in blue. So you are managing the servicing, the insurance, the road tax, the fuel, road tolls, driver, etc. The service provider, which in this case is the car dealership, is responsible for the car, the finance, and the depreciation. Next up is you hire a car, that is, you rent a car, not a taxi, but you hire a car. In this case, you are responsible for the fuel, the road tolls, and the driver. The service provider is responsible for the car, the finance, the depreciation, and everything you see in green over here. And the last option is you get a taxi, as in you get Uber or Lyft or whatever. In this case, you just go in and go from your source to the destination. That's it. That is a taxi. The service provider is responsible for everything: the car, the depreciation, the fuel, the tolls, the driver. So if you were to take this real life example and convert it into cloud computing models, then if you are owning the car, that is on premise, you manage everything as the client. If you are leasing the car, then that is infrastructure as a service. If you are hiring a car, that is, you are renting a car for a few days and you are going to drive it, that is platform as a service. And if you're taking a Uber for your daily commute from your source to your destination, that is software as a service. Now, another example which I came up with is, let us say you own your house, right? That can be on premise. You are responsible for everything, right? From your monthly payments to the depreciation, servicing, everything. That is on premise. If you are using infrastructure as a service example for owning a house, in this case, you rent the house, and when you got it, it was not fully furnished. So you had to bring in your own bed, refrigerator, and you're paying all the bills. You're paying for the electricity and everything. So that is infrastructure as a service with respect to the house model. Now, what if you get a fully furnished house wherein you get the bed, you get all the electricals you need, the fridge, the washing machine, the gas, everything is there. It's something which is like move in ready. You just go in and you start staying and pay the monthly rent. So that is platform as a service. And then let us say you go and book a hotel to stay in there for the weekend, or you do Airbnb. In that case, you do not control anything. You just go in and then you are using it for a few days, staying at the hotel or the Airbnb, and then you check out. So that is software as a service. So now that you have a basic understanding and you can correlate cloud computing models to something which you do in your day-to-day lives, let us bring in the software stack. So this here on your screen is a software stack. And as you can see, you have networking, storage, servers, virtualization, operating system, middleware, runtime data, and applications. Now, if you're managing all of these as a software company, as a software firm, you have your own application and you have to manage, say, the internet, the hard disks, the servers, the operating system which is running, the apps which you need for app development, and then you're managing the data and the application, then that is on premises. Then if you have a look at the second picture, right? Everything in blue is something which you manage, but the networking, the storage, the servers, the virtualization, and the operating system is provided to you by a vendor. Then that is infrastructure as a service. And your AWS, your Microsoft Azure, your IBM Cloud are all examples of infrastructure as a service. Next up is wherein you only have to manage the application and the data, the runtime, the middleware, the operating system, virtualization, servers, storage, networking. All of this is managed by the vendor and delivered as a service. So this is platform as a service, and platform as a service is generally used by app developers. So let us say you are going to develop an application for Mac OS. You might be needing Xcode. Now, Mac OS, Mac machines are super expensive, but what if you could buy the storage, the server, and then run Mac OS on top of that? And that is given to you as a server. You do not have to invest in the initial setup of buying Macs. If this is delivered to you as a service, then you can just, Xcode is installed, you start your coding, you start developing your application, and you're only concerned about the application and the data. So this is where platform as a service comes in. And examples of platform as a service would be AWS, Elastic, Beanstalk. And then the last one is wherein you just go ahead and consume the service. So you do not manage anything: application, data, runtime, middleware, software, networking, servers. Everything is managed as a service by the vendor. So this is software as a service, and you use this in your daily lives. If you're using, say, Gmail, you're using Office 365, you're using Netflix, that is all software as a service where you're just using the software and the end product. Now, super important thing to note over here is that as an organization or as a software developer or a software firm, as you keep going down from, say, the on-premises towards the software as a service model, you do lose control over a lot of things. So that is something which you do need to keep in mind. But I do hope that this video helped you understand the difference between the various cloud computing models, and if it did, a like and a subscribe to the channel would be highly appreciated.